One funny thing about head coaches and managers in any professional sport is that they will almost invariably profess to never carry over anything from one season to the next. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Alex Nedeljkovic was available on a conference call yesterday, and he's the only goaltender who's been made available this summer, and he's the only goaltender who was asked to speak for any reason over the final month of the past season. Now, the first thing I just said there means nothing, because media relations could arrange for Tristan Jarry to come on a call and, snapping a finger next week, and my point is moot. It's probably moot anyway. However, can somebody explain to me now in mid-August, a month before training camp, why Nedeljkovic wouldn't enter that camp as the default starting goaltender? And he won't, by the way. I'd be stunned if he did, because that's really not how Mike Sullivan does stuff unless he's got something that's just super clear-cut. But he doesn't anymore. And it was, in fact, Sullivan who would have created this dialogue or this debate by saying to Nedeljkovic and to Jarry in that final stretch, this guy over here we trust more than this one over here. It doesn't mean you don't trust Jarry. It does mean that you trusted the other guy. Now, you can always hide behind phrases like going with the hot hand. And that actually did come up once or twice with Sullivan. But come on, man. He rode Nedeljkovic. Even when Nedeljkovic started leaking a little bit. Remember that? And he looked like he started wearing down. That one home game against the Red Wings where you thought, man, maybe it's time for him to take a break, but how do you sit him? They have to win every one of these games. They have to get the maximum number of points. And so you didn't. You kept riding him as if it was playoffs. Well, that makes a pretty strong statement. So for the record, I feel, and I, of course, don't have a vote in this, that Nedeljkovic should enter the season as the starter. I believe that would benefit everybody, including the Penguins skaters, who very clearly developed their own sense of trust in Nedeljkovic down the stretch. I also believe it would benefit Nedeljkovic because, as he was saying in the conversation yesterday, he feels that he gained confidence through the entire season, not just in that final month, but it was rewarding to have Sullivan and everybody getting behind him when they needed him the most. But I also think it would benefit Jarry. Tell me when Jarry's done well when he wasn't pushed. Tell me when Jarry's done well when he's been the number one for any significant stretch. When he was doing the pushing, Matt Murray and so forth, he was way more effective. He showed that focus, that sharpness, that athleticism that makes him a potential, I still believe, top 10 goaltender in this league. But whenever it's been his show, it's just not the same. I'm not sure why. Who would want to try to get into a goaltender's head anyway? But there's one thing that I'm sure of, and I asked Nedeljkovic about this yesterday, and that's that these two guys get along, and that matters a lot. If you know the hockey culture, look, not everybody can be Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman doing that great big double hug that they were doing in Boston. But you do not just want, you need your guys to have a healthy professional coexistence, even if they aren't necessarily best buds. And this was Ned on that subject.
I mean, we got along great. It was from the start, just kind of feeling each other out a little bit, getting to know each other, and seeing how each of us work on the ice and in practices, and what we kind of our routines and things like that. But after like that first like week or two of camp, it was pretty smooth sailing. He's a pretty easygoing guy. Uh, I thought we got along great. We had some similar interests, and he was one of the first ones to text me when I had re-signed and said, say congrats and welcome back, and looking forward to getting back at it together. And I was saying the same things and I've said before. That's part of the reason why I wanted to come back. I wanted to work with him, wanted to help push and make him better, and I wanted him to push me and make me better as well. And I think we did that at certain points throughout the year, and I think we can be even better at it this year. And the two of us, I think we can really kind of put, at times when needed, put the team on our back and help get us through some sticky situations when they come, because they're going to come. It's a long season, and we're going to have some ups and downs. And if the two of us can be consistent and give us a chance to win every night, I think it'll go a long way.
Great. I like that. Again, that's not nothing. That's not something to downplay, much less dismiss. But again, if you ask me, that dynamic is going to be healthier if Nedeljkovic starts out as your one, even if the other guy happens to be whatever, more talented, more pedigree, etc. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Today's J1Q comes from Eddie, who says, Dejan, any chance that Noel Acciari or Matt Nieto actually sit with the salaries that they carry? I think a lineup with either of them in it goes against Kyle Dubas' aim to get younger, Blake Lizotte, Anthony Beauvillier, Sam Poulin, Jonathan Gruden, Valtteri Puustinen. Any of them would be fine. The only older guys I want in the lineup, on the bottom six anyway, are Lars Eller and Kevin Hayes. Yeah, I'm not so sure about Hayes. He's going to play. I think it might not be getting fully noticed yet around here. What a very bad season Hayes had in St. Louis. And for that matter, Cody Glass, new guy, coming off a very, very bad season, arguably worse than Hayes's in Nashville. So these guys got something to prove, and that's always nice and welcome and energizing potentially and everything. But if you're talking about Acciari and Nieto to start, you're having divergent conversations. Nieto, I don't think is going to play. I think he's done. I think he might be done career-wise. There's never been any even hint from the Penguins that he'd be available this coming season. Acciari, sometimes I feel guilty in talking about him as I do, because I end up just throwing his name out there as the example of what went wrong with Dubas's summer of 2023, because Acciari was exactly what you didn't want to do in that specific circumstance. You didn't want to commit to somebody who was 30 or older. You certainly didn't want to commit for 3 years at $6 million total. No, just no. There's nothing about that made sense. And, Acciari gets here. He wins legitimately the respect of his teammates. Mike Sullivan would speak of Acciari in Patrick Hornquist-y sounding tones, which made me cringe every time I heard them, but it told me something about how the head coach felt. And I'm just one person and I could be wrong, I didn't see that when I watched him play. My belief regarding Acciari specifically is that because of how highly the head coach regards him, because of his role on the penalty kill. And because he's seen in the attacking zone as being, all those Sullyisms, stiff on pucks, hard to play against, all that other stuff, he's going to play. I think you can pen him into a spot in that top 6, even though I don't ever see anybody hypothetically doing that, even though I don't do it myself. And will the contract, since you brought this up, have something to do with that? I mean, yeah. Anybody who pretends that contracts don't influence personnel decisions in professional sports is doing exactly that. They're pretending. GMs don't like to get embarrassed. GMs don't like to embarrass themselves. GMs definitely don't like it when their head coaches or managers embarrass them. So all of that, I'd say, conspires toward Acciari playing, if not necessarily a massive role, he's going to be suiting up. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. We're going to have one more of these tomorrow.